12 days into the season and the Premiership had its first managerial casualty. Did he jump or was he pushed?
Kenny Dalglish did resign, and this club's acted honourably throughout the whole procedure. And as I said before, I can look in the mirror every morning and I certainly acted correctly.
Ruud Gullit was appointed as Dalglish's successor after only 6 months out of the English game. Charlton continued their impressive start to the season by earning a point in a goalless draw at Arsenal. Emmanuel Petit was sent off for the second time in his English career, a trend that was to continue throughout the forthcoming season. Gullit had an immediate view of the size of his task at St James's Park. Newcastle torn apart by Liverpool. Berger. Ince has got a bit of room here, room enough to line up a shot, beaten out by the goalkeeper. Owen!
Well, he squeezed it in. What a volley.
And my goodness, they're playing it right now. Owen is in again. Owen scores again!
Oh, what a goal. What a goal, Martin.
Chave hustled out of it by Riedler. Owen to take on Albert. Michael Owen for the hat-trick. Well, it is awesome.
That's ridiculous. I don't think I've seen the likes of this young lad in my life.
Southampton empty-handed in August, already early signs of a long struggle. Chelsea and Manchester United in the lower half, but they played only twice. The huge level of competition ahead borne out by no 100% records even this early in the season. A year after their worst ever start, Aston Villa had begun brightly, behind Owen-inspired Liverpool only on goal difference. September started with an England setback in Sweden, 98 not living up to earlier promise for Glenn Hoddle. Hoddle's old club Tottenham sacked Christian Gross. Chairman Alan Sugar explained his decision.
We all felt that Christian, no matter how professional he is and how good he is, had been destroyed by the media, basically.
Director of football and former Spurs manager David Pleat became caretaker boss. More of a shock was the news that B-Sky B wanted to take over Manchester United. The bid, £623 million.
My first thought was, as a Manchester United supporter, if I woke up one morning, picked up a newspaper and saw that Liverpool or Arsenal or any of the major clubs have been taken over by Sky, how would I feel about it? And I came to the conclusion I wouldn't be too happy. I'd rather have them on my side than anybody else's.
Over £6 million did change hands. Paul Merson joined Aston Villa. He'd been unhappy at Middlesbrough.
I don't go around preaching and telling people to stop drinking and stop gambling. You know, that people can do that. That's going to happen wherever you are. It doesn't matter what club you're at. You know, it does happen. But, you know, it just wasn't for me.
He says that he's been one or two problems off the field at his current club, or should I say at Middlesbrough, but we've got one or two players that like dressing up in women's clothing and having their backside spanked now and again, but I think he'll fit in quite well, to be honest.
Dwight Yorke was fitting in splendidly at his new home, clicking into gear straight away in a 4-1 win over Charlton.
Did you ever get nervous?
My first game against at home, my debut, I was a little nervous.
When was the last time you were nervous before that?
Can't tell a lie.
Honestly?
No, seriously couldn't tell a lie.
Wow, I bet that was a real strange feeling, wasn't it?
It was actually. The night before I couldn't actually have slept. You know, the night before. I'm telling everybody now, but I mean, no, it's the first time I've ever been nervous in a football match because I'm really laid back.
Paul Gascoigne cast aside his disappointing summer, scoring his first goal for Middlesbrough. It beat Leicester City at Filbert Street. Gascoigne's former Middlesbrough colleague, Paul Merson, made a goal-scoring debut for Villa in a 2-0 win over Wimbledon. It was Villa's fourth consecutive victory. It put them top of the table.
I would imagine that the Villa public are quite pleased to see the position we're in at the moment, but obviously there's a hell of a long way to go, and I think we've already had about 4 leaders, 5 leaders even, in the Premiership in the first sort of 4 weeks of the season. So we take nothing for granted, and we're up there to be shot at, I suppose.
Villa replaced Liverpool, who lost their first game of the season at Upton Park. Eyal Berkovic scored the decisive goal for the Hammers. The champions were short of early season form. They needed a last-minute goal from Stephen Hughes to earn them a point at Filbert Street, a 4th consecutive draw.
It was 360 minutes that he didn't score, and psychologically it will help us a lot to come back with a point, but as well to have scored.
Dwight Yorke was again on target as United beat Coventry at Old Trafford. Gustavo Poyet emphasised his importance to Chelsea against Nottingham Forest. Ruud Gullit's first win as Newcastle manager came against Southampton. Jason Dodd was sent off. David Jones' side were thrashed 4-0, their 5th straight defeat. It was their worst ever start to a season.
The club's been in this situation before. We were in this situation last season, not as bad, but the players, half of the players that are here have been down there and they've been the whipping boys before, and it's up to them and the new players we've brought in and the youngsters we've got, and ourselves, the staff and the fans who've been superb, is we've just got to keep picking ourselves up.
Robbie Fowler surprised everyone by returning to action only 7 months after suffering a cruciate ligament injury in the Merseyside derby. He scored twice against Charlton in an entertaining 3-3 draw. But his return couldn't disguise a dreadful defensive display by Liverpool, a failing that would haunt them through the rest of the season.
I was pleased with Robbie. Obviously 2 goals is a bonus. It's nice to see him back out there, and obviously he'll get sharper as the games go on, and I'd say it's a good start.
Derby were finding their rhythm at Pride Park. Jim Smith's men went second in the table after a win over Leicester. It was their highest league position since December 1975.
To be second, it's great for the fans, really. I mean, they like to go and read the Sunday morning papers and see Derby second in the league.
The top 2 the previous season came head-to-head at Highbury 4 days after United had squandered a 3-1 lead at home to Barcelona in the Champions League. Nicky Butt had been sent off in that match, and lightning would strike twice for him.
Turn towards Adams! Arsenal have a lead that they thoroughly deserve. They've begun brightly here, and now they've scored. No offside, Nicolas Anelka. Schmeichel there again, Anelka there again! 2-0 to Arsenal, and Nicolas Anelka, a very, very happy young man.
Vieira forcing a mistake then, Anelka can put Vieira forward. Here goes Patrick Vieira, sent crashing by Nicky Butt. Tackle outside the area. Now, was that in the mind of Graham Barber a goal-scoring opportunity?
Hughes.
Oh, it's a bit lucky. He didn't aim for Ljungberg, but he's found him. And what a way to start your Arsenal career. Frederick Ljungberg, 3-0.
If we lost today at home against Man United, we didn't win for 5 games. Of course, it would have been a big blow. But to win it again puts us up close to the top contenders, and of course psychologically is important.